Hello, this is the Harboring Light. I'm Mary. I give a conservative take about the world around me. So feedback is immensely important. Feel free to reach out to me, and the sources for you to do so will be provided for you. All right, so some of the audio platforms that I'm on Speaker, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, just to name a few. Okay, so this episode is centered around the song Wasted Away and Margaritaville that we all hear. It's in the atmosphere, so it's well renowned. And I'm going to give my thoughts and dive into it. Here we go. Alright, so I want to get into my thoughts about the song, the whole genre, related to the aspects. So, Jimmy Buffett, he did a really good job with the aspects of capturing the ideas of essentially what it is thought of or becoming of when we get into the aspects of the mentality of the beach life. The best way I can equate it to this is Matthew McConaughey with that sort of easy breeze, a little bit of more sophisticated, but then Woody Nelson, which is quite interesting because of their same personas, is why they were sort of teamed up in some movies together with more sophisticated hippie, or more sophisticated, I guess, Southern-esque, to where everything is everything, everything is everything sort of mentality, to where you don't really have a care in the world. You're just taking everything day by day, minute by minute, hour by hour. You're just, taking everything by as it comes. And that can be a bit refreshing when you get in the aspects of how life can unfold, especially with the BS. I'm trying not to curse here, y'all, because this is the main channel. If you want to get the uncensored version, feel free to be a subscriber, or I'm working on Float Plane to post there content, my unabridged thoughts on Sunday, the free on Float Plane, and I will let you know all about that, and also post a link to that when I get all that sorted out. All right, so, and because there's so much, it's just odd, how it's slowly progressed. But this is nothing new. The aspects of people can flip their lid over anything, not really having a rational disposition. The main consensus about that. So, for instance, with the aspects, excuse me, I'll be right back. So, a really good example of this. Now, I've heard about it, and this is some YouTube content creators have covered it. But anyway, in general, the consensus of the American Eagle ad with the actress starlet of this time being in blue jeans and saying, it's a cute, clever play on words, saying, oh, this is fascist Nazi rhetoric, saying that it's eugenics, saying that the only good genes is blonde hair, blue eyes. How in the world do you get that from that message? Well, why does it always have to be the extreme? And so, reverting back, and I'll end with this. When you hear music that delves into the aspects of, it's nothing complicated about it. It is what it is. It's a simple story plot, and it's something that's not really all that existential or anything. That really resonates with the whole aspects of just in a nutshell, to really stop and take a breath and just, slow down and take it easy. All right, with this said, I'm going to get into the aspects of all the facts of the song. Here we go. All right, of course, sources will be provided for you in this episode. All right, so pulling up all the facts for you. Okay. Find the facts. Here we go. All right, so. All right. Says Margaritaville is a 1977 song by American singer-songwriter Jimmy Buffett. So released on his seventh album, Changes in Attitudes. The song was written after Buffett experienced a series of minor misfortunes in Key West, Florida, including losing his flip-flop, cutting his heel on a discarded beer can, pop top, and being unable to find salt for his margarita. So it's quite interesting, when I was reading this and finding all this out, that this really is a recount of the aspects of. It's quite interesting when singers just, funnily, don't take themselves too serious, and sometimes, in this case, they make songs out of it instead of breaking the persona of the aspects of. I had said previously with this melodramatic story of what has happened to them or their past, and that's supposed to be the personification of who they are, when in actuality they're just perpetuating a character that's not really themselves. It's quite interesting that juxtaposition in this case. All right, so it says Buffett initially struggled with the idea, but producer Robert Putman initially dismissed the concept as a terrible idea for a song. However, a few days later, Buffett returned with a rough version titled Waste Away Again in Margaritaville, which Punchman and others recognized as a potential hit. Okay, so I'm going to go further on into some facts about this. So, Jimmy Buffett wrote Margaritaville in Key West, Florida after he finished the tour with his group, the Coral Reef Band. They had just toured Texas, and Buffett spent some time drinking, as I'm expanding on to that, as I already said. Reiterating what I already said here. Drinking margaritas in a Mexican restaurant with a friend before going back to Key West. When he got there, he sat at the Old Anchor Inn watching gridlock on the roads. And he used it as inspiration as he composed the song. Buffett recorded this song Criteria Studios in Miami with producer Norbert Putman. Buffett and Putman met in Nashville, which is where each did most of the work. When Buffett asked Putman, Nashville is the beacon of the aspects of the country music scene, so forth. So, it's quite interesting when there are certain staples of where musicians should be if they want to, be this sort of artist. As I mentioned before, in the classical era, Vienna was the place if you want to be the up and up in the as a composer, a classical pianist, or wherever you go to Vienna, and you want to be folk singer, all of that, you go to Greenwich Village, with that in New York. Yeah, the Motown sound, Detroit, that's the way to go. And then LA in the 80s, gangbusters. And so, that in itself is really a staple of the aspects of how influential music comes with culture, and then how that surrounds and changes the shape of the cities, the countries that it comes out of. All right, so now going back here. So, okay, so it says, when Buffett asked Putman to work on the album of songs about a carefree lifestyle by the water, Putman told him that he needed to be near the water when recording it if he was going to pull it off. So Miami it was. Putman said in Sound on Sound, and this is him speaking. So one day in the studio, he comes and he starts telling me about a day he had in Key West. He was coming home from a bar and he lost one of his flip-flops, and he stepped onto a beer can and top, and he couldn't find the salt for his margarita. He says he's writing lyrics to it, and I say that's a terrible idea for a song. He comes back a few days later with Wasted Again in Margaritaville and plays it again, and right then everyone knows it's a hit song. And he goes on to say, well, hell, it wasn't a song, it was a movie. So regarding the success of this song, Buffett said, I was lucky enough to get my thumb on the pulse beat of what people perceive to be topics to be. So Margaritaville has come to symbolize a carefree Caribbean lifestyle. What comes in Key West, which is called key disease. For many, the only time they experience this way of living is on vacations or at Jimmy Buffett's concerts. So Buffett has a lot of fans who work very hard and make a lot of money and use his music as an escape. See what I'm saying? So Buffett was born in Mississippi and raised in Alabama. He didn't come to Key West, Florida until 1971, and he was 24 years old. As a transplant, he had a perspective on the area that natives don't, which helped him capture the ethos of the song. So, that's quite interesting when I've heard this before. Now, when you come into something not structured or not knowing the way, or not experiencing the way that it's normally experienced, you get a different, fresh take, and then people take notice of that. All right, so Buffett has always loved sailing, and when the song became a hit, he was thrilled because he could buy his own boat. He has said that even if he was a one-hit wonder, he would have been happy with his boat sailing around the islands. When Buffett sings about how he stopped on a pop top and cut his heel, requiring a cruise back home to enjoy a margarita, he's referring to pull-off tops from sodas and beer cans that caused a litany of minor injuries, as they were often thrown on the ground and then stepped on by poor souls who blew off their flip-flops. In the late 70s, the pop tops were replaced with much safer, non-removable round pop-down top-end tabs. Buffett launched a number of margarita stores with locations in Key West, New Orleans, Jamaica, Charleston, and, of course, Orlando. They sell clothing and other items inspired by the song. So former Van Halen vocalist Sammy Hagar covered this song in 2013. So prior to this top hit, Buffett's highest charting single on the Hot 100 was Come Monday, which peaked at 30 in 74. Margaritaville also landed 13 on the country tally. In 2016, this was included in the Grammy Hall of Fame. This was referred to in Blake Shelton's 2004 hit Some Beach, which finds Shelton singing Margaritaville and Minding My Own. In 1999, Buffett joined Alan Jackson in recording of this for Jackson's album Under the Influence. And Buffett's original version, he knows wasting away in Margaritaville is his own fault. In Jackson's version, the singer blames each other before they finally admit it's their own damn fault. So in the Simpsons episode, Simpsons colorful classicistic Asphalidocious of 1997, this is sung by the nanny, Sherry Bobbins, and Barney Gumble. It was also used in these TV shows, Zoe Extraordinary Playlist, Zoe's Extraordinary Neighbor of 2020, 911 Triggers of 2019. The particular episode of 2019 triggers what his name, and Extraordinary Neighbor is the particular episode in Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist of 2020. Hawaii Five-0, the episode entitled Make Me Kawi, 2017. So also along in these movies, Angry Birds Movie 2 of 2019, Beach Bum of 2019, Anger Management of 2003, and Beetlejuice of 2024. All right, so Margaritaville was selected for preservation in the United States of National Recording Registry by the Library of Congress in 2023. The song was chosen for its cultural, historical, or aesthetic significance. Following the death of Jimmy Buffett on September 1st of 2023, Margaritaville returned to the Billboard Hot 100 charts, charting at number 38. So this reaches the end, and of course I would like to know what you all think. And I can't stress that enough for all those who have commented on YouTube. Continue to comment and make just, however you think about music or in general about different show topics. Feel free to chime in. So again, this reaches the end of the Harboring Light. Tune in, turn up, and absolutely take care. Bye bye for now.